Welcome to Love Speaks the Loudest. Relax, unwind, and enjoy today's stories. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Here's the first one. The timid morning sun begins to announce its arrival, streaking the pale sky with traces of gold. The stars, having fulfilled their purpose for the night, fade away into the vastness, ready for rest. This is the fleeting moment where night meets day, their quiet interaction free of any demands. Soon, full dawn will take over, but for now, the world slumbers beneath a blanket woven from both skies. A house stands quietly between earth and sky, slightly untamed and weathered. Its simple charm is evident in its modest solitude. This is a place where memories linger, where family gatherings, holidays, births, deaths, and long-forgotten secrets are etched into its brick walls. It is a house that claims no owner, offering only temporary refuge, sharing its warmth before leaving its mark on those who pass through. Rowan Hale waits on the porch, his familiar post. He sips his strong, bitter coffee, swallowing in deliberate gulps. A cigarette burns between his fingers, thin curls of smoke vanishing into the chilly morning air. He breathes deeply, the sharpness filling his chest before he exhales into the quiet. Inhale, exhale. It is a rhythm he holds onto, the only sound breaking the silence. The stillness presses around him like an invisible weight. Rowan wonders if today will be the day the quiet consumes him entirely, drawing him into the horizon and blending him with the brilliant streaks of colour creeping across the sky. Behind him, the house absorbs the morning light, as though awakening with the day. Though Rowan has only been here for a short time, the house feels like an extension of himself, a fragile connection between reality and the void. Here he is free from the city's demands, from the burdens of the life he left behind, and from responsibilities that no longer matter. Rowan has no family, only distant faces that vaguely resemble his own. Once he thought he knew them, perhaps in another life. But his memory slips further with each passing day. He has no concept of home, only the fleeting moments that disappear with every breath. He holds onto the warmth of the sun as it brushes his skin each morning, and the companionship of the stars that guard him at night. As the two skies unite in this fleeting moment, they remind him of his mortality. He has today, but tomorrow is not promised. Soon, Catherine will wake and his solitude will end. The day will blur into a mix of smells and sounds, pills, bottles, ink, and pages. Once, their lives had a perfect rhythm, a balance so delicate that no words were needed. Invisible boundaries were drawn and respected, with silent agreements of give and take. But that balance is now disrupted, shattered like walls after an unseen storm. Catherine moves through the ruins with a sad smile, sidestepping reminders of what could have been. The cradle that remains empty, the ghosts of rattles and bottles. Rowan had once wanted to pull her back, to guide her away from the wreckage, but his strength has drained away, leaving him lost and unable to find her. At night, Catherine cries softly in her room. Rowan lies awake, hearing her pain in the stillness. The waves of sorrow wash over him, but he does nothing. Perhaps he has learned to block it out, shutting his mind off so her sobs do not linger in his thoughts. He knows her pain well. He memorized the map of her heart long ago. But he stays hidden in his sanctuary, choosing not to intervene. It was not his choice, and thus, he believes, not his responsibility. Catherine had arrived, uninvited, in a whirlwind of white blonde hair and linen. She came with suitcases overflowing and a fretful energy about the house's seclusion. Her presence quickly overtook the home, her influence turning it into something new. She brought exotic teas, cooked meals with spices he couldn't name, and filled the air with floral scents. She emptied the cupboards of canned goods and cleared the refrigerator of beer and wine. She did all of this out of love, a love that asked for nothing in return. She understood he couldn't give her what she wanted. Perhaps, deep down, he didn't want to. On mornings like this, Rowan remembers waking beside her. The soft light painting the treetops reminds him of the rise and fall of her chest as she slept. He recalls her delicate eyelids fluttering against the pillow, her pale hand instinctively finding his beneath the blankets. Her slender fingers laced with his, bringing a warmth that seemed to chase away any cold. Their love was unspoken, a quiet understanding neither felt the need to voice. But now, standing on the porch with regret as his companion, Rowan realizes he should have told her what he now knows. He should have uncovered her mysteries, should have seen her for who she truly was. Only now, when it feels too late, does he understand how deeply she longed to be discovered. The stars have fully withdrawn now, making way for the morning after their last graceful retreat. The sun, newly reborn, rises hesitantly, sensing Rowan's fragility and casting only a faint glow over the sky. Above, a silent battle unfolds as the solitary sun confronts a legion of ominous clouds, their conflict unfurling without sound or spectacle. Rowan's gaze lingers on the heavens, his disenchanted eyes tracing the scene. He feels Catherine's presence in the kitchen without needing to turn. Her graceful form moves through the disarray, rummaging through pots and pans, nibbling absently at wheat toast. For now, she plays the role of a domesticated woman, though he knows she will abandon it by midday. In this moment, she exists only for herself. Rowan lets out a silent farewell to the outside world before crossing the threshold back into reality. The kitchen is bathed in soft hues of blue and grey, the metal surfaces dull, and the cherrywood table untouched. Catherine stands like a figure in a painting, her white satin form blending seamlessly with the smooth glass of the patio door. She sips her light and sweet coffee from a chipped ceramic mug adorned with the image of a tree. Rowan wonders fleetingly about the mug's origins and how it came to be the part of their lives. She is still, a figure caught in reflection, and he can see the faint lines etched on her face. It takes him a moment to realise those lines are his doing. Her eyes catch his in the reflection of the glass, and she smiles softly, not turning toward him. It is a smile full of unspoken confessions, her fears and hopes for him wrapped delicately within it. It is a smile that her otherwise clouded eyes cannot or will not reveal. This smile is hers alone, a sacred offering, and Rowan knows he is the only one who can absolve it. Catherine turns her gaze back to the world outside, caught in the fragile space between waking and dreaming. Her hand moves absently to her midsection, a gesture that sends an ache through Rowan, awakening memories he thought buried. The pain is sharper than the dull weight he has carried in recent days. A vivid shard of the past pierces him. A bright September morning, back when he was whole, and her eyes sparkled like crystal. Her words from that day still linger on his skin, melting into him and reaching places he didn't know existed. He had imagined their child then, with her high cheekbones and his dark hair, his mouth and her nose. But the child would not have inherited her smile. That smile was hers alone, meant only for him. The weight of it is too much for Rowan to endure. He drifts silently to the living room, though Catherine prefers to call it a sitting room. To her, the line between living and dead is not as clear as his. The room greets him like an old friend, offering a space for his thoughts and his secrets. He lowers himself into the worn rocking chair, its familiar rhythm calming him. He knows Catherine will appear soon, ghost-like in her movements, to place a blanket over him. Then she will disappear as quietly as she arrived, returning to the enigmatic rituals of womanhood. Rowan will mark the hours by the pills she brings, once presented on silver platters like some twisted Holy Communion, now simply stashed in bottles and washed down with the whiskey he keeps in his golden flask. She never lingers to watch him, and he prefers it this way. For Catherine, it is not real if she does not see it. Later, they will walk to the lake together, Rowan will lose himself in the scent of pine and oak, the familiar embrace of the natural world. He will burn these images into his memory and hold them close. Catherine will gather wild flowers, weaving them delicately into her hair, transforming into a figure out of a fairy tale. In those moments, she will be a princess, and Rowan, her knight. He will see a reflection of himself, a man he barely recognizes, content and unburdened, expecting nothing, wanting even less. But for now, as he rocks back and forth, he allows himself to imagine. He imagines holding their child, inhaling its sweet scent, feeling the gentle rhythm of its tiny heartbeat. He sees its soft eyes fluttering against his chest, its perfect fingers instinctively finding his own and intertwining with them. Rowan knows this vision as intimately as he knows the morning sky, the evening stars, and every part of Catherine. Catherine enters the room, carrying with her the crisp morning air. Her face, as beautiful as ever, is weighed down by an expression too sorrowful for someone like her. There should be light in her eyes, joy and hope shining within them. Instead, there is illness, regret, and tragedy. Or perhaps Rowan only sees the reflection of his own despair mirrored back at him. He wants to tell her it was never her fault, that she wasn't the one who brought him here. She was sent for him by the evening stars to take his place. Maybe through her, his secrets will finally become truths. But as she settles gently beside him, he realizes no words remain between them. Together, they stare out the window as the sky darkens. The gallant march of rain begins, droplets striking the glass in a steady rhythm. Catherine's fingers find his, wrapping around them without a word. In another life, Rowan might have feared the storm. But now, he is its calm centre. Later today, after their walk to the lake, after the pills and the whiskey, Rowan will join the stars. Sitting beside Catherine, he will grow dark with the world, becoming one with the evening sky. He will finally hold the child with his eyes and her nose, taking one last breath. But in this moment, he is at peace. He is home, here in the time of plenty. And now, we continue with our second story. Hope you enjoy it. He was an outsider, peculiar in every sense. His thick, black hair framed a face often hidden behind spiky handwriting, and a stutter that made words stumble. Aidan was his name. Young and unassuming, he had nails that never broke, and the uncanny ability to type 200 words per minute. Yet, for all his talents, Aidan had no clear vision for his life. A 10th grader in the prime of his awkward years, he was shunned by classmates, an oddball in their eyes. Poor Aidan. Quiet and withdrawn, Aidan rarely spoke. His red, scarred fingers, remnants of a fire from long ago, reminded him daily of pain he never discussed. Beneath his silence was a sharp mind, though few noticed. He avoided drawing attention, likely because of his stutter. Even the fact that his mother taught history at his school was a secret he kept close. The resemblance between them was non-existent, and neither Aidan nor his mother ever revealed their connection. He felt it was better that way. Already deemed strange, why add fuel to the fire? Aidan lived like a lone wolf, walking a solitary path through the chaos of high school. That is, until Iris arrived. Iris was a force of nature, untamed and dazzling. She defied convention and radiated a brilliance that was impossible to ignore. Iris was everything Aidan was not, fearless, vibrant, and unapologetically herself. Meeting her was like witnessing a somersault in human form. She once claimed to me, "Somersaults taste like juicy prime weed mixed with sweat and laughter." She swore she turned one every day, sometimes twice. Together, they were an unlikely pair. Aidan and Iris, silence and storm. Aidan, the subdued and sorrowful. Iris, a burst of energy wrapped in laughter and defiance. She was fire in the midst of a flood, a beacon of courage in the shadow of fear. At school, Iris was a legend in her own right. She did things others only dreamed of. Sliding down the marble banister at the school's entrance? Iris did it, declaring an impromptu holiday for National Hiccup Day, even though it wasn't real, That was her doing too. Her mischief extended to the school newspaper, where her anonymous notes left everyone in stitches, though everyone knew it was her. Her audacity knew no bounds. Iris once blackmailed the English teacher into administering a test on the Harry Potter books. Ironically, she'd never read them and bombed the test. Not one to admit defeat, she hacked into the school's website to change her grade. Unfortunately, her first attempt altered Nate's grades instead. Nate, another self-proclaimed weirdo, took pride in his abysmal scores and insisted she change them back. She didn't. In the chaos, she even forgot to fix her own. Iris's antics didn't stop there. She created a teacher rating tab on the school website, locking it behind a password so even the headmaster couldn't remove it. The Bible teacher, a one-armed war veteran from Syria who bribed students with donuts on test days, consistently topped the rankings. One afternoon during lunch, Iris was up on the school roof, darting back and forth. "I need to train!" she shouted to no one in particular. "What if crying, exhilarating cranes invade and drive us all out? Someone has to be ready to run!" Her words drifted on the wind as she sang and hummed, lost in her own world. That's when it happened. Iris tripped over Aidan. "Good lamppost in a blizzard," she exclaimed, stumbling to regain her balance. "I didn't see you there, sorry." No problem," Aidan managed to stammer, his words faltering but sincere. She paused her jogging in place to peer at him. He was curled up by the ventilator, scribbling in a notebook. Iris's outfit was as bold as her personality. Bright orange and purple leggings adorned with pom-poms and an oversized hoodie gleaming with golden dots that seemed ready to swallow her whole. She wasn't sweating, not even under the blazing sun on the metal roof. Iris was like that, untouched by the elements, unfazed by what would overwhelm anyone else. She wore no jewellery except for anklets, and even those were hidden beneath the chaos of bracelets fighting for space around her ankles. She looked like a scepter, regal and otherworldly. Her crown, a gleaming creation of tinfoil, sat atop her head, reflecting the sunlight like a radiant halo. It had been crafted by her favourite kindergartner, Toby, a boy just as peculiar as she was. The oversized hoodie she wore, a golden reflection of the sun, draped over her thin frame, turning her into a slender, shining stick of light. To Aidan, she wasn't just a girl. She was a scepter personified, and he was in love. Aidan couldn't find the words to respond. Her energy and presence seemed to stun him into silence. Iris noticed his humble, almost timid demeanour, and something in her fiery spirit softened. She slowed her jogging, her wild energy temporarily subdued, and flopped down beside him. From that moment on, they were the talks of the school. Aidan and Iris, Iris and Aidan. Their pairing was so unusual that it became a source of endless fascination and, of course, teasing. Iris denied they were in love. She truly believed she didn't love him, or so she said. Aidan never addressed the rumours. In fact, no one dared to ask him. Despite his oddness, there was something about Aidan that made people wary. Instead, the teasing was directed at Iris. Students, myself included, would approach her with sly smiles and teasing questions. Poor Aidan. As I've said, he was already an outcast, but the attention made it harder for him. He wrestled with an inner turmoil, wondering if Iris's friendship, and perhaps her love, was worth the price he paid in whispers and sidelong glances. It wasn't bullying exactly. It was something quieter, more insidious. The way his new relationship brought his oddness into sharper focus. Outcasts like Aidan weren't supposed to have girlfriends. They weren't supposed to step into the spotlight. The school buzzed with amusement and curiosity. They laughed behind his back, though I am not entirely sure he didn't hear them. I can't say for certain that Aidan never cried over it, retreating to some quiet place where Iris couldn't find him, to bury his face in his knees and let out his frustration. Yet, through it all, Aidan endured. He remained Aidan, quiet, brilliant, and determined. His grades were still among the best in the class, better than mine even. There was something admirable about the way he carried himself, maintaining his dignity in the face of all the attention. And why did he persevere? because of Iris. She was the fire in the heart of his flood. She sparked something within him, and before long, that spark ignited a flame of his own. Together, they were extraordinary. The two of them talked endlessly about the strangest topics. Typewriter fonts, the peculiar workings of monkey brains, the sound of an engine clearing its throat on a cold morning. They found fascination in things no one else even thought about. With Iris, Aidan became someone he never thought he could be. Happy. To the rest of the school, they were a show, a spectacle. Iris had always been a source of entertainment, but Aidan, used to his quiet, unnoticed existence, had suddenly become part of the main act. The two of them, the lone, stuttering wolf and the wild, radiant sceptre of a girl, captured everyone's attention. And me? I was just the observer, the one who quietly watched, aced tests, and scribbled stories about my classmates. They called me Berry, because that was all I ever ate. From my quiet corner, I saw them for what they truly were. An unusual, beautiful pairing. Iris, with her boundless energy and fierce spirit, gave Aidan something no one else ever had. She loved him in a way that made him come alive. Together, they were something rare and unforgettable. Iris and Aidan, Aidan and Iris. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss our next one. Have a wonderful day.